Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina, inside Reynolds Coliseum, where you are watching NCAA Women's Gymnastics on the ACC Network. We've got a great matchup between the number 20 NC State Wolfpack against number 23, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And these two teams are going neck and neck. You can see there their NQSs just back to back. Both of them with extremely high home scores, which are actually not counted in their NQS. And so looking at replacing some of those lower scores, Ohio State really looking to replace one of those high scores on the road this evening. Good evening, I'm Rachel Garland alongside Sydney Sneed. And Sydney, I'm really excited for today's meet, but what are we going to be looking out for?
Yeah, I'm so excited. We have two very similar teams here tonight. NC State struggled a little bit last weekend, and Ohio State is coming off of their season high, so it'll be interesting to see how both of them perform tonight. Absolutely.
I'm super looking forward to watching both of these teams, both of them with Chloe Negretti and Ashley Knight, these two rock stars for the Wolfpack team.
Yeah, so exciting. We've seen Chloe Negretti multiple times throughout this season. Just a rock star and rock, really, for this NC State gymnastics team. Also her senior night, which is really neat. And Ashley Knight, 97.5 on vault. We're not even surprised by that. Hoping that she comes in with a stick tonight like we've seen before. But again, really exciting for both of these athletes that have contributed to the success of this team.
And like you mentioned, Ohio State coming off of their season highs on all four events as well.
Yeah, that is a really big thing to keep an eye out for. Season high on all events. It was a home meet, so we'll see how they do on the road. But again, a sellout as well. First in program history. That's got to be exciting and just giving them confidence as they're heading into the postseason. Someone to watch for, Tori Vetter, that 39.5 all-around score. We're going to see some big gymnastics from her here tonight.
She has been so fun to watch all season, and they are led by head coach Meredith Polisivic. They're in her 8th season. You can see 2 straight NCAA regional appearances, and they are looking to make it a 3rd in a row for this young team that we actually talked to her before the broadcast. And that's one of the things that she highlighted was just all these underclassmen really stepping up to the plate. NC State led in her 8th season as well. Coach Kim Landris, their 6th straight NCAA appearances, and NC State coming off a rock-solid 2024 season as the ACC champions. So we are going to get started. Meg Adler is the leadoff on all 3 events that she does. NC State is going to take place on the vault. Ohio State will be on the uneven bars. And then again, NC State will rotate in Olympic order. So that's vault, bars, beam, and then floor.
Yeah, and you'll hear us talk about it on the broadcast, but we're starting to creep up in that postseason point. And so that NQS, those tiny details, those landings are what all of these athletes are going to be looking for throughout the night. Starting off with that Yurchenko full. One of my favorites to watch because she's such a great leadoff. You see that height she gets on the vault. She's consistent every time. And then just has that minimal hop right there. But notice right here, just the height and the block she's able to get. So close. It's almost like she's hopping in place. But again, that's going to be a really strong leadoff score for them.
A huge score for the junior from Chapel Hill. And the best part is we get another year with Meg next year. So super excited for her to be returning. As we jump right over to the uneven bars, this is Sydney Washington in the leadoff spot. And similarly, she also competes 3 events, and she is the leadoff on all 3 of those events as well.
Starting off with that nice Maloney down to the pack. Notice how her handstands are on top of the bar. That's something that the judges are really looking at, to be on top or within that 10-degree mark. She's able to hold it right there. Does a blindfold into that double tuck. It looked like a stick from here. Sometimes the angles are tough, but really solid routine to start off for Ohio State.
Absolutely, and that was a rock-solid routine. She went 9.775 last week. I feel like that was pretty close, maybe if not a little bit better.
Yeah, again, the judges want to see the handstands on top of the bar, that execution, which is at toe point, straight legs, extension throughout, and then stuck landings, which you will hear us say a lot throughout the broadcast.
Ava Myers, you see there, the freshman from New Jersey, really made an impact so far on this Wolfpack team, coming in and filling in a number of different roles.
I love the extension that she had from the round off to the back handspring. A little bit of pike down on that Yurchenko full, so that's going to be a deduction that we can see. We'll take another look, but look at the extension she has, all the way to the back handspring. Even throughout that full, just at the very end, a little bit of pike down, and then she did step over that white line. Not sure what the judges will take there.
The white line on vault, not a deduction, more just a guideline for the judges in terms of being straight behind the vault table, more of a directional thing, not like the white line on the floor exercise. So up in the second spot for the Buckeyes, this is Grace Walker. Walker did not compete as a freshman.
I was expecting to see a lot of red in the arena tonight because both teams, but I like how they went with white.
They went with the white. I love it. Yes, absolutely. Walker, just the sophomore out of Ohio, went 9.825 on this event last week. You see Sydney Washington's 9.85 and a strong leadoff.
She starts out with that nice piked Jaeger for that release move. Does that pack down to the low bar. Notice how she did that quick switch change where she flipped directions. But so far, this has been a really beautiful routine to watch. That blind full on top. Just does that double tuck, a little bit of power, or she lost a little bit of power on that double tuck, so landed short. But I like the rhythm that she had, very slow and easy. Looked like she was in a lot of control, which I like to see. Just that dismount, looked like she broke out a little bit early. So again, that's gonna be a deduction for that chest down, step forward. But other than that, another solid routine.
So sophomore on the uneven bars, back to a sophomore on the vault, Lauren Wright.
Getting ready right here, that Yurchenko full. Had so much block and amplitude off of that table, and then it looked like the power just stopped a little bit on that landing, which is where that pike down and step forward comes from. But take a look, nice height all the way throughout, and then just at the very end lost a little bit of power.
She was really going for that stick.
She was, and sometimes when you do that, you break out early. So it's important to have that air awareness. We're gonna see a lot of Yurchenko fulls, which are that 995 start value. So it's gonna be, how do you differentiate from the rest of them? What makes you stand out?
And vault last weekend was the only event that NC State scored above a 49. So far the two scores coming in, Meg Adler and Ava Myers, both slightly above where they were at last weekend. So definitely want to continue seeing that trend going up. This is Carly Reitzel. You see there, the freshman out of Hillard, Ohio.
She starts off, it looked like from this angle, a little bit short on that first handstand, but does a straddle Jaeger down to that overshoot to low bar. Really great job reaching on those fingers. It looked like she was far away from the bar, so nice job there. And then does the double layout, is able to hold on to it, so nice routine.
Again, another one of those like hops in place, which...
Yeah, let's see this release move right here. You can see from this angle, she does a Jaeger, she's reaching, but
Definitely
she's able to hold
fingers.
on. Yeah, that's a neat angle to be able to see it at, because she was not coming off of that bar.
So a clean routine from Reitzel as we jump over to Krista Zoltovich, the senior out of Pennsylvania, who again, so much power.
We're gonna see the Yurchenko full again. I really like that. That's been my favorite one so far. She just floated in the air, had so much control. and then was able to drop it into pretty much a stick, almost. We'll take another look
Those
here.
mats are so squishy. So for those new to gymnastics, there's a little bit of give in the mats, and so she doesn't really hop. She just
her feet didn't move. It just she kept
she kept the toes down
on that. Yeah, that's going to be a good score for NC State.
That will be a fantastic score. She went 9.825 on vault last week, and one of the higher scores in the vault rotation. As Ohio State is putting up some big numbers on the uneven bars as well. They went 49-1, again 49 on all 4 events last week in season highs overall. And this is our first look at the all-arounder Tori Vetter, another Hillard, Ohio native.
Starting off with that Tkachev. Notice how high she gets above the bar. That's what the judges are looking for. Love that overshoot to handstand. So far, it's been a really pretty routine. I'd like to see those handstands more on top of the bar, just to minimize that deduction, but does the full out and gets the stick. So I love the form, love that whole routine, but again, I think she had a couple of short handstands throughout, which is where I would imagine that they would deduct. So
well, she loved that routine, as noted by the facial expressions.
Absolutely, you can see there, just a little rushed on those, but makes up for it with that stuck dismount.
So 9.8 pluses all around as Ohio State is midway through their rotation. Chloe Negretti up next for the Wolfpack on vault.
We'll be seeing a lot of her tonight, but again, nice block off of the table. Always has that control throughout, which I love to see as well. And then just a slight hop backwards. Take another look here. She's able to get that block. And she honestly is able to break out of it. And notice just the extension, the line she has throughout. She doesn't budge at all, even with that form. So really pretty vault there. I know she's gonna wish that she had gotten the stick on that, but
always.
Still.
It's so hard to stick, especially when you have that much power to be able to stop it from going so far forward just on a dime. So again, scoring tower over on the right. You can see the grade outscore from Lauren Wright for the Wolfpack team. Right now, that is the lowest score, so that'll be the score the team wants to drop. 6 will compete. The top 5 scores that count. And there you see Grace Walker's for Ohio State as well. So right now, Ohio State dropping a 9.825, which is phenomenal, as Mason gets set with her routine.
yeah, so far they're on a roll in this bar lineup. We see that Maloney to Pat combination again. One thing I like about this bar lineup is just the control that they've had, that rhythm they've been right on throughout each routine. Just has the dismount left, double layout. Had too much power there, so takes that step backwards, but I always like to say too much power is a great problem to have, right?
Definitely too much rather than too little, so I'd rather take that 10th step on the landing. So good routine out of Raider.
You can see from this angle. Notice the extension that she has from that high bar to the low bar and then back down again. Then does that double layout. Really nice routine.
All right, so we'll get our first look at this 10-0 start value out of Ashley Knight, the sophomore from Greensboro.
One of my favorite vaults to watch. Look at the height. Wow.
Oh, so
almost
close.
had it. That one looked extra high today. I don't know if it's because senior night or what, but wow. Take a look again right here. Huge block. Just makes it look too easy with that twist.
She almost had that landing.
She did. That one, again, these vaults are so hard to stick, but she's able to just break out and truly drop into it. So that's the 10-0 start value. That's going to be a high score for them still.
So the high score of the week last week with that 9.875. You see there Chloe Negretti coming in at a 9.85, so just that 1/10 scooch on the landing. So NC State's lineup is done. We do have an exhibition out of both teams. And Ohio State's going to finish up with Kate Parks. So again, a very young team for Ohio State. Lots of freshmen and sophomores within the lineup.
Yeah, and when we talked to Coach, she really mentioned how the freshmen have stepped up, and we've seen it. Take a look at this bar lineup. I mean, they're already at the 49-125.
So a new season high.
Right, it beats last week, and it's an away score. So they've got to be pleased with how this lineup is going so far. So far, so good on this routine as well. A nice handstand here. Just looking for a stick on that double layout, and she gets it. Wow, they are pumped about that. I loved that bar routine. There was a couple of form breaks throughout that the judges, if they're picky, might take, but they just went through that bar lineup and really nailed all of their routines there.
A phenomenal job out of Parks. We're going to take a look at Reina Gandhi in the exhibition spot.
She does that tucked full right there. Got great distance from the table to the landing, which is really tough to do on vault. But notice how she just landed a little bit short.
So conclusion for NC State on the vault, a 49-125. It ties last week's score. So a fantastic job to start senior night. Ashley Knight coming in with a 9-9. So again, just that small shuffle of a foot. And then we've got Ashton that will be up on the uneven bars for Ohio State as Kate Parks comes in with a 9-9 as well. So Ohio State just crushing their last season high from last week, another 10th on that, a 49-275.
Wow, we've seen some really good gymnastics so far tonight. So we said it was going to be a close meet and that these teams are very similar. And that's what we're seeing so far with this score. Nice double layout to finish off that bar routine. In that exhibition spot.
So Ashley Merritt, some tears of joy, of happiness as she finishes up her bar routine on that. So a couple of quick highlights as we conclude rotation number 1. We'll be back on the other side of the break with these two teams neck and neck. One rotation down, and the 23rd ranked Buckeyes have a narrow lead over this Wolfpack team by about a 10.5. You're watching women's gymnastics on the ACC network. We've got a close meet, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen. But let's take a look at Ohio State. You can see there their NQS, their national qualifying score, which is how they're ranked in gymnastics. Right now they're coming in 23rd in the NCAA. So well on their way to postseason, making sure that they're in the top 36 that advance. Led by this rock star Tori Vetter, Big Ten Gymnast of the Week early on in January. We're excited because we get to see her on all 4 events this evening. And they had some big opportunities over the last couple of weeks. Last weekend, their quad meet, the attendance, a home record just shy of 4,000 fans in their first sellout ever. So lots of enthusiasm, not only between the teams, but also with the fans in attendance. They've got one more meet in the regular season before they get started with postseason, a quad meet at West Virginia next weekend. And then let's take a look at this Wolfpack team. There you see their NQS just narrowly above Ohio State's, coming in 20th in the NCAA. So a very strong season so far for the Wolfpack team. led by this individual, Chloe Negretti, 3-time ACC Specialist of the Week, and more accolades than we can probably fit on the screen throughout her collegiate career. Just a phenomenal gymnast, along with Ashley Knight, again, 2-time ACC Specialist of the Week. We just saw her on vault with a huge 9.9, just missing that stuck landing. And again, as a sophomore, phenomenal impact on this Wolfpack team. And similarly to Ohio State, NC State had their first sellout crowd in program history earlier this year versus Cal, bringing in the fans, and the energy was just electric throughout the night. NC State's actually got 2 meets upcoming before their conference championship. This is a dual meet weekend for them, so they'll travel tomorrow to hit up Texas Women's University on a Sunday, and then they've also finished with a quad meet at George Washington on March the 14th. We'll be right back in just a few minutes with rotation number 2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back inside Reynolds Coliseum, where Ohio State has a narrow lead by 1.5 after rotation number 1. Another season high for this team as well on the uneven bars, besting last week's score by about 1.5.
Yeah, something that we talk about is for these teams, you're wanting to peak at the right time. So for Ohio State to have all of their season highs last weekend and then to come here on a road trip and then get a season high on bars is a great start. And like I mentioned earlier, that's what you want at this point right before heading into that postseason.
And that 49 score, like that is the threshold. So the 49 on each event, that's the 196 average. And really anymore, you don't make it into postseason if your NQS is not over a 196.
Absolutely. So that's something to keep an eye out and track of throughout the meet for reference.
So Sydney Washington lead off routine number 2.
And that's another Yurchenko full. We've seen a lot tonight so far. It was a nice, clean, solid vault, and that's what you want from your leadoff. Again, with these vaults that start from the 995, really wanting to hone in on those sticks. But that was a nice, almost had a little bit of a shuffle backwards, but again, a solid vault for them.
And we've talked before, a hop on the landing at a 10th each, if everyone does that, that's a fall for that event. Now, some of these are only a half 10th, which is still a 2.5 tenth. And when the meet is being determined by a 10th and a half, right, that really adds up. So Sydney Washington finished up as Kaylee Adamides, the bar specialist for this Wolfpack team, a junior out of Long Island, her one and only event. And in the leadoff spot, no less.
One thing I like about this bar routine are just her extensions and the lines that she's able to get. So far, she does at that Maloney down to that pack. Nice handstand on top of the bar into that Stalter, looking for a stick here, and she's able to get it. A nice routine for NC State. It looked like she was rushed on a couple of things here and there that the judges may deduct on, but overall, a nicely done bar routine. Take another look here. Notice the extension that she's able to get.
So a great routine out of Adamides. Only went 9.625 last week. So this routine should definitely increase from there. But like you said, maybe a little bit of strength versus swinging throughout the routine.
Yeah, those high bar scores are going to come when the swings just look so at ease for these athletes.
All right, so this is Riley.
Wow. Really beautiful vault.
Huge.
I loved the height and the distance. We've seen on a couple of these Yurchenko falls that it's either the height or it's the distance. So she was able to put both of those together. Take another look here. Love how she had straight arms off the table and just is able to break out. In my opinion, this is one of the best Yurchenko falls that we've seen tonight. So that's going to be, or should be, a good score for Ohio State.
That was fantastic, like you said, and exactly what this Buckeye team is looking for. So a great second spot for Ohio State. This is Maddie Reed, the junior out of Chapin, South Carolina.
Starting off strong with that handstand on top of the bar. We've seen that Maloney down to the pack. So she almost hit her feet on that. That's going to be a deduction. Not sure what the judges will take. Yeah, that was just a timing issue on her swing there. That handstand a little short too. Does the flow, dismount, is able to land with a stick. So she does a great job being able to cover that up. But again, a couple of issues here and there throughout the routine. I like though that she was able to work through them, because sometimes when your timing's off or something goes wrong, it can throw off the entire routine. But she did a great job being able to finish and pull that out with a stick.
She did a phenomenal job. Actually made her debut last week and anchored the lineup with a 9.775. So jumping into that second place spot, the only real kind of mishap was that release down to the low bar where maybe her feet hit, maybe not so much. But we'll jump back over to the vault. This is Carly Reitzel.
Gearing up for this vault here. Front handspring, front pike. Wow, nice job on that landing. That is the blind landing that we talk about, but she had great form and extension throughout her toe point, even on that front pike, which is really hard to do, all the way through to the end. So you can see here, huge, and is able to pull that all the way through. Very nicely done on that. That's going to be another big score for Ohio State.
Absolutely. Again, not a 10-0 start value, so it'll start from a little bit lower, but the execution was clean and just the smallest hop on the landing. So halfway through Ohio State on vault, Ava Myers in the third spot for the Wolfpack.
So far, love the form that she has and the execution. She does that Maloney back down to the pack. But notice the rhythm that she has throughout the routine. A little bit off on that blind full and takes a step on the double tuck, but a clean routine. So had a little struggle on that high bar, but from the judges' angle and point of view, they may not have been able to see that. The highlight of this routine, though, being this release move right here. Nice body positions all the way from low to high and then back down. Right here on this dismount.
Very cricket on that full pirouette on top of the bar, so I'm glad she could pull the double tuck around. Unfortunately, had that step on the landing, but better than a fall. As we move back over to vault in the fourth spot, this is Caitlin Grimes, one of their seniors.
Another huge Yurchenko full. The block and the height were definitely the highlight. She just had that jump almost in place again that we've seen. It's tough to stick sometimes on these mats. But we'll take another look here.
Grimes is one of their vault specialists. She's been a really strong part of this lineup throughout her career. 9.825 last week.
She's really able to get that block off the horse like we haven't seen quite as many with huge height tonight. So like how she was able to set herself apart doing that.
Caroline Volk on the uneven bars, one of the freshmen for this Wolfpack team. So two freshmen back to back.
And we see that really big release move combination. That's something that's very popular in college these days. And does the double layout in with a stick. It looks like it surprised her a little bit, but
it definitely did, but a phenomenal routine out of Volk. Only went 9.75 last week, so I'm gonna go with that was a little bit better than last week's routine.
Yeah, this is a really tough release move, but she does a great job getting height over the bar. And again, any type of release move where you're going from one to the next is difficult. But I like the double layout body position throughout and her reaction when she sticks.
The single bar release to the transition release. So lots of bonus in that combination. We'll take a look at freshman Cameron Smith for this Buckeye team. Smith actually 13th in the Big Ten rankings on this event.
And she does a 1.5, which is a 10.0 start value. That's the first one that we've seen tonight, but I like the distance she was able to get. That vault had a lot of power. You can see right here, beautifully done. She's almost stick straight throughout, which is really difficult to do, and then controls it with that blind landing.
And if you hear the crowd in the background, that is a 9.925 for Caroline Volk on the uneven bars. So a fantastic vault out of Smith as Ellie Hadrick takes to the uneven bars. Our first glimpse of her this evening.
She has a huge straddle Jaeger. Goes right down to the low bar. She did a great job. I think she was able to hold her feet up, but it looked pretty close.
It definitely did, but you can almost tell, the judges can actually see if she made chalk marks on the mats.
Yeah, that takes a lot of strength to be able to hold up, but almost had that stuck just now. But again, it looks like there's a couple things here and there, but the athletes are able to work through them, which is what you want at this point in the season. Being able to stay on the bars. And again, you can see right there, she does that release move. I can't tell if she hit the bar or the floor or not.
It is. It's really hard to tell to see if there is a mark on the floor. The judges may have it. They've got a closer look than our cameras. And then just the hop on the landing. So almost through these lineups. This is number 2 for Vetter. 2 of 4 this evening. Coming off of a 9.85.
She does a huge Yurchenko full. Notice how she broke out of that vault at the end. That was when you know that you have great air awareness and sense there. We'll take another look here. You can see she pushes off and then just kind of spreads her arms. She's like, yeah, I know where I'm at. So that's going to be, that definitely should beat that 9.75 that they're dropping right now.
So a phenomenal job. She's a redshirt junior, so she does have another year of eligibility on this team, and I'm sure the Buckeyes are excited to be able to bring her back.
Yeah, we've seen some great gymnastics from her already tonight. We're going to see a lot more.
Katie Harper anchoring this bar lineup.
Really nice handstand on top of the bar. She's able to hold that. She does that Ginger release move, which was close to the bar. You could tell when she caught, her arms are just bent and close. So she had to take that extra swing there, which unfortunately will be a deduction. But finishes with the double layout and lands with the stick. So we talk about issues throughout or struggles throughout these routines, and this is happening in a matter of seconds, right? When you're an athlete on the uneven bars, there's so much going on through your mind. So for her to be able to kind of reset and still make it through that routine.
So this is the release move you were talking about, just ends up a little too close to the bar.
And it kind of started out with that handstand. You saw her pike that handstand and save it, and that threw off the rhythm right off the bat there. So that made it a little more difficult. But then, like I said, she's able to reset and land that double layout with the stick. So that's a positive coming out of that routine, and the fact that she wasn't fazed by that and didn't come off the bar.
Absolutely. And again, uncharacteristic of her. She went 9.8 last weekend on bars. The Wolfpack still at a 49.1. My guess is that's going to be the score that they'd like to drop. So Kaylee Adamaides 9.75 will be counted in their overall team title, and Ohio's or team total. And then Ohio State a 49.075 on vault. Just narrowly missing last week. Last week they went 49.125. So 0.05. which, like we've talked about, is a scooch of a foot on one of those landings. It's a tiny pike down on one of the Yurchenko fulls. So we've got 2 exhibitions for the Wolfpack team. This is Peyton Childs, who we have seen quite a bit of in the bar lineup.
Yeah, she does that really unique kip hop right there where she flips her hands and does the straddle Jaeger down to the low bar for that overshoot. Really like that handstand on top of the bar. And that blindfold right on top as well that we can see from our angle. And then is able to do a double tuck and drop that in. I really like that routine, the form throughout. Again, I've talked about the rhythm a couple times, but it's important to kind of stay on pace throughout the routines.
And we'll get to see Childs again on beam. She is one of the seniors on this Wolfpack team and has been a phenomenal player, particularly in the bar lineup throughout her career. So there you see Katie Harper score that 9.45 coming in, missed some bonus connections, and just some extra swings in there as well. And I believe we've got one additional exhibition for the Wolfpack team. Jenna Rusk is going to take her place.
Katie Harper's 9.45, like you just mentioned, from that extra swing, but we highlighted how she did come off the bars and didn't take that fall, which is something to note because every 10th counts. So even if you're in a post-season competition, whether it's conference or regionals, you never know. And it's hard in the moment to think about that, but you truly never know what's going on with other teams or where you can make up some of those mistakes. So it's important to kind of keep an eye on the bigger picture as well.
It kind of goes back to it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's really hard to think about in the moment, especially when you make a mistake. It's like you're so hard on yourself, but
absolutely,
you just never know.
So we've talked about today being senior day and making sure that this coaching staff has routines to be able to put in for next year. So Jenna Rusk, one of the freshmen out of New Braunfels, Texas, getting some play time as well.
Yeah, and so far, it's been a beautiful routine. She did that Maloney as her release move. I liked the form that she's having throughout. She does that unique front giant and then looked like she was good on top of the bar, just maybe second-guessed herself a little bit because from this angle at least, it looked pretty good. It
looked really good. She was, like you said, she was right on top of the bar, making sure she hit that pirouette in the handstand and then just couldn't quite hold on. But again, a great experience for her. So as you get more time out there, more time in front of the judges, I would say this is probably the hardest part, is just getting up and finishing your routine with a dismount. Nothing in front of it. She may do that blind combination again.
Yeah, we'll see how she'll finish this off. I'd imagine the high bar combination again. Does that double tuck dismount. So really nice potential for a good routine there. I liked the combination and the release moves. Again, just second guess yourself a bit.
So that concludes rotation number 2. You can see there Ohio State still has just a very, very narrow lead over this home Wolfpack team. Ohio State's going to move over to the floor exercise. NC State is going to move to the balance beam. And we'll be right back on the other side of the break.
You ready?
We've got a great matchup in front of us.
This team has been so fun to watch.
Beautifully done.
Like I'm levitating sky high.
That's the momentum we're talking about.
They have been unbelievable.
Take this conference to another level.
Living like a rock star. Take off like a rocket ship.
The ACC Championships coming up in just 2 weeks. You can see there Cal topping the stands currently. NC State coming in at that 3rd place spot as the reigning ACC champions. And they are out to do a repeat again. It's going to be some stiff competition against Cal and Stanford. You can see there Ohio State not in the ACC. So we'll take a look at the Big Ten standings as well. Big Ten's got some stiff competition. Ohio State there right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Big Ten gymnastics, not something that we've seen too often this season going against NC State, but take a look at their QS being that 196, 165. So look at how close all of those top ones are. That's where we talk about every tenth, every detail really does count when you get to this point in the season.
So Big Ten championships, ACCs in a couple of weeks. You can see there the March 22nd weekend. ACCs in Greensboro, Big Ten in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Followed by that, they've got the NCAA tournament selection show. Regionals is the big one to get that bid to the national championship. So a 3-day meet for some teams, all aired on ESPN Plus, and then concluding with the national championship in Texas, aired on both ESPN and ABC. We will be back in just a few moments. We are midway through this competition, and Ohio State's got the lead by .125. Some big gymnastics coming up as we are at the midway point in this extremely close matchup between the 23rd ranked Ohio State Buckeyes and the 20th ranked NC State Wolfpack. There you can see NC State cut the lead just by the smallest amount, by .025, as the Wolfpack gets ready for beam and Ohio State heads to the floor exercise.
Attention gymnasts, this concludes your team test.
Coach Kim, the beam coach for this Wolfpack team, and they have typically been phenomenal on beam just as a team overall. Their season high coming in at a 49.325.
A 49.325 is a great beam score to be going after. That's going to put them right in the running at a meet like conference championships or at regionals. So they're going to be looking to get that. And I think a lot of that comes from the beam lineup and that beam lineup chemistry. You have to have that team chemistry. You've got to have the confidence in each athlete. And that's when you can start building off of one another and you really get into that consistent rhythm with your teammates.
And talk about consistency. Meg Adler, again, the 3 events and 3 leadoff positions. Definitely some confidence that the team feels in her getting this Wolfpack started on all of the events that she's in.
Yeah, that just speaks volumes for her as an athlete and a gymnast, because I think sometimes people forget they practice this day in and day out in the gym. They practice this lineup exactly where everyone is in the lineup. They watch Meg Adler go first every single day, so it really does become routine and repetitive for each team. Starting off with that back handspring, back layout acro series.
Beam is one of the events last week that the Wolfpack just wasn't quite themselves. No real major errors, but some of their scores came in a little bit lower, so really trying to shake the nerves tonight.
We talk about there's going to be mistakes throughout the season, so it's how you bounce back, how you react. Being able to kind of sweep that last weekend under the rug and come out strong tonight, looking for that at least 49 score that we talked about. She does a side aerial, slight wobble on that. But a really pretty switch side. Just getting ready for her dismount here. She's gonna do that gainer full off the side and ends it with a stick. I love the confidence she has on the event, especially like we talked about, being able to lead it off. So nice job there.
Phenomenal job for Adler. One of the higher scoring routines last week, but still a little bit low for her, coming in at a 9.7.
Could see that deduction right there on that side aerial, but makes it up with the stick on the gainer dismount.
So 1 of 6 for the Wolfpack team on floor. Sydney Washington, again, same spot as Adler, where she leads off the 3 events that she competes in.
getting ready right here for this first tumbling pass. Huge double pike. She just had so much height and power on that she wanted to break out early, because now that big deduction is going to be from that out of bounds and all those steps. She does that front layout to front full. Nice job there.
Similarly to Adler, Washington went 9-7 last week on this event. We'll hear a lot of Ohio in these floor routines.
Yeah, we've got some fun choreography to watch. This is a 3-pass floor routine, so last tumbling run right here. Huge double tuck, had to take that step forward. It's almost like she overcorrected, wanted to make sure she didn't make that mistake of going out of bounds before. So a nice routine for Ohio State, but unfortunately, that first pass is going to be a big deduction. You can see right here, I love how high she gets throughout and then just couldn't break out quick enough. So that is going to be a pretty significant deduction there. I don't want to speak too soon, but they're probably going to want to try and drop that score if we're getting picky, which I feel like at this point in the season we can be picky.
That's what all of these teams need. So they're looking for the details overall. So we'll move right back to the balance beam. Caroline Volk up in the second spot. So Volk last week actually made her routine, but didn't get a connection bonus, which really threw her score off.
She does that triple series, back handspring, back layout, which is very difficult. Yeah, we talk about these leap combinations. They're just as important as the acro skills as well, because that's what's going to get that 10-0 start value. So even if there's not a fall, sometimes it can be make or break, just as big of a deduction.
And one thing that judges pay attention to is between those two leaps, if one of those feet slides or turns early before they actually take off onto that next one, that's where those connections come into play.
She does a beautiful front toss there. She was able to land it higher. We've seen sometimes on those that squatty landing, but no problems there. Gainer full off the side. She is having a night tonight.
A phenomenal job, and I know she is breathing a sigh of relief on that one. You can see the smile on her face. Because of that missed connection, she only went 9.325 on that routine. So between these leaps is really where she made that mistake. And what happened was she scooched those feet in between, and so she didn't get skills and credit and bonus and all kinds of fun stuff that the judges are looking for.
Yeah, beautiful routine there.
So big smiles from Volk as we move right back over to the floor. Caitlin Grimes in the second spot. You see Sydney Washington only a 9.425, so that'll definitely be the score that they want to drop.
I really like that double pike that she does for her first pass. We talk about you're allowed to have that lunge without a deduction, and then she does that 1.5 to front layout. Nails that.
Floor is actually one of the Buckeyes' best events. They're ranked 17th in the country.
So if we talk about it and break it down, Sydney Washington, the 9.425, the rest of your lineup probably feels a little bit more pressure. Maybe not a ton, but definitely some to try and make up for that score. So far, Caitlin Grimes is doing a great job. Ends with a double tuck. Beautiful and controlled landings throughout. You can see the Ohio State team's really excited about that.
Grimes, one of the seniors for this Buckeye team. And just a beautiful routine overall.
Yeah, I really liked that routine. I loved the tumbling. She had that height throughout, but also was able to control those landings to minimize those deductions. So what a great reset routine for them. Take another look here at the last pass, which again, pointing out she did 3 tumbling passes. We don't see that as often in collegiate gymnastics anymore. So major props to her for that and being able to do this double salto pass with no issues. She almost could have bounced out of it, right?
So Brooke Smead, the senior out of Holly Springs, in the beam lineup. Not in the beam lineup last week, but we did see her a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, she's been working really hard to break into this beam lineup. Seen her exhibition and, like you mentioned, in the lineup a couple weeks ago. She did a great job. She starts off with that front toss to the back handspring. Beautifully done. Looks like she wobbled on her dance a little bit. Sometimes when you get too excited about something and you're moving through, you forget.
You put so much emphasis on the hard skills that you forget about the walking across the beam part.
Absolutely.
Her debut routine went 9.875, so what a way to start off.
Yeah, that's got to give you confidence. Does that cat leap into the gainer full, lands with a stick. So another beautiful routine. We say sticks are contagious, and that's what we're seeing here in this beam lineup.
3 for 3 in this beam lineup, and really the only execution from Smead was that wobble on the dance move.
Yeah, I really liked that routine. She looked so confident up there and was able to end with a stick like we just said. You see that cat leap right there, and then goes into the gainer full and lands upright on that. So
I think the smile says it all on Brooke's face as well. Riley Guevara on floor. We've seen her on a few other events.
Starts out with a front double full to a front tog. She just looked like she was floating on that. That front double full is a really difficult skill because of that front blind landing there.
Guevara also a 3-event individual. So we'll see her again on beam.
Getting ready for her second tumbling pass here. So Rudy to back layout step out.
That was beautiful.
Really beautiful. It's hard to make these skills look controlled in the air, and that's exactly what she's doing. She's doing a great job at it. Beautiful routine, all front tumbling there. But one thing I've noticed from this Ohio State team is how bouncy they are in their tumbling. Bouncy, but very controlled.
They have a lot of dynamics, most definitely. And I loved almost the theatrics of her performance. This was her theater stage.
Notice the height she gets from that front double full, and then that punch front goes even higher. And then beautiful Rudy, feet don't even come apart until that step out. It's gonna be a good score for them.
So far, 2 phenomenal routines for the Buckeyes, really looking again at hopefully eliminating that 9.425 out of Washington as Peyton Childs takes her turn on the beam.
And they're just moving through this lineup. This is the spot that you want to be in, especially for the athletes that still have to compete. She does that back handspring, back layout. Looked a little shaky, but was able to cover it well. She does that switchy straddle quarter there.
I think some of that, just again, it wasn't the beam team that we typically see out of NC State last week. So a little bit of nerves, just you always want to do your best, but you put that added pressure on yourself.
Yeah, and I always like to say it's better to have those jitters and have meets or events like that happen now rather than in championships or regionals or even nationals. So not what they want, but again, when you're looking at the positives from it, better now than later, right?
Absolutely. You never want to have your off meet at your conference championships.
Definitely not, but so far, nice beam routine, and then another stick. I think that's 4 in a row.
I believe so.
So one thing to highlight and note is that they have been sticking all of their dismounts, which those 10s are going to add up.
100%, and you can see it reflected in their scores. I feel like the scoring tower, those are the scores we're used to seeing out of NC State.
Yeah, you can see right there on that acro series, her feet were a little bit off, but she did a great job, like we mentioned, covering up.
So back over to the floor. 3 of 4 for Tori Vetter.
Starting off with a huge double tuck. She had a lot of power, but did a great job kind of staying in bounds and holding that in.
Vetter ranks 8th on this event in the Big Ten. She's 30th in the nation on floor.
It's important for these teams where if it's their best event, that's really where they want to excel and capitalize.
She's definitely one that I could see making it to nationals as an individual if Ohio State doesn't make it as a team.
Yeah, and that's a whole extra layer to talk about that you can't make it individually. So many rules and
there's a lot
things to know when postseason hits. But
there's a lot.
Beautiful front layout punch Rudy. That's a difficult combination there. It's difficult to do the Rudy as a second pass because that's all about the timing. So nicely done for Vetter.
A phenomenal job so far. Again, really picking up from that first score. Vetter went 9-9 last week.
Take another look here at the front layout, and then notice how she's able to rise and get that twist around, which is what's difficult. But she had no issues on that.
So a phenomenal job out of Vetter. They've got 3 solid routines under their belt for the Buckeye floor team. Katie Harper in the 5th spot for this Wolfpack beam team. There you see Peyton Childs at 9.775. It is the low score so far.
Getting ready for this acro series. Back handspring, back layout. She's able to stick that no problem. I did notice a little bit of form break throughout that the judges could take if they like. Just a little bit of bent legs and flexed feet there. Again, that's when we're being picky, but I feel like at this point we have to be when we're talking about every 10th counting.
Harper currently ranked 14th in the ACC on this event.
She has that front toss. Just has the dismount here. It's gonna be a punch front full, and I did not see if she stuck it or not.
I think she did.
Based on the reaction, I'm gonna go with yes, but it was hard to see.
Definitely hard to see, but we'll call it 5 for 5.
We'll take another look here at the acro series. So she does a nice job being able to stick it, but just a little bit of bent legs throughout. And then the dismount. Let's see from this angle. Punch, tucked front full, and yes, she did get that stick. That's a blind landing too. So you really got to give this NC State beam lineup props for 5, 6 in a row now.
I love it. That's exactly what the beam team wanted to do coming off of last week. So we are nearing the back part of these lineups. Mallory Gregory on floor. Gregory, a junior out of Claremont, Florida.
She does a front layout to the Rudy. Same passes we saw from Vetter. A lot of these athletes in this floor lineup have so much power and bounce, like we talked about. You can really see it through their tumbling, so really important to be able to control whether it's in the air or that landing.
I love on her floor routine, her tumbling passes are all no-handed.
Yeah, that's really tough to do. You've really got to get creative when that's the case. Getting ready for this next tumbling pass right here. Gonna do that front layout to front full. She was able to cover up that landing well. It looked like she had a little bit of shuffle there. So again, not sure what the judges see from their angles. It's a little bit different, but we'll see here. She does that front layout and then the Rudy. She had a lot of power on that, so a little deduction there on that landing, but then that last pass, she was able to break out, and I like how she covered it up with that dance move right there to try and minimize that deduction.
Great job. So Mallory, again, a very strong score that should be counted in the Ohio State floor team as we take a look at Chloe Negretti.
We've talked about her all season long, and just how great she's been on every single event that she competes in. But she really excels on beam because of her extensions and just the grace that she has. It's like she's floating on balance beam.
Very tricky to do. I don't know if you can float on balance beam.
She does beautiful leap combination. When we talk about extension, this is what we're talking about. The toe point, the straight legs, even just on that split jump right there. So far, this has been a flawless beam routine. She just has this dismount left, one of my favorites to watch. It's gonna be a round of double full. And she's able to get the stick and on senior night and for the sixth one in a row.
I love it. When do you see 6 sticks in a row?
Really not often. I couldn't tell you the last time that I did. So everyone's chanting 10 in the crowd, but.
And it was the last home meet. One judge did flash a 10. She ended up with that 9.975.
She definitely has potential for a 10.0.
Give it to her. Give it to her. It's senior night.
But notice how her feet and her legs don't even come apart on the twist throughout. I don't know if they'll take that little shift or how her leg kind of lifted a little bit.
That
might be a slight deduction. But regardless, beautiful beam routine, one of my favorites to watch.
Well, very well deserved of whatever score it gets. We'll just maybe see like a 9.95.
Right.
So, all right. So Chloe Negretti's score coming in as we take a look at Mason Rader on floor.
First tumbling pass here. Huge double pike. Just so much power, and she goes out of bounds again. So they're really gonna want to be looking at how to keep those landings or breaking out early from these tumbling passes to avoid those extra deductions there. She has a front full to front tuck.
And too much power is definitely better than not enough, but as you go into your conference championships, your postseason, you've got to stay in bounds because that 10th is coming off the average of the score.
Yeah, so sometimes it can hurt a little bit more. Ready for this last tumbling pass here. I love when there's 3 passes in the routine. Ends with that double tug, just a little bit off on that landing, but it wasn't a height or a power issue there. So a good routine. She's probably not going to be too happy with it just because of, well, because gymnasts are perfectionists.
They're chasing the perfect 10.
Right, but couple things here and there that the judges will deduct on, but the main thing being that out of bounds there.
So we've got Chloe Negretti scoring. One judge flashed a 10 again. Ends with that 9.975.
If I had to guess, it maybe was the dismount
Possibly.
Or something, because she lifted sort of
So
on that.
2 home meets and 2 9.975s for Negretti. Ashley Knight in the exhibition spot, in and out of this beam lineup, but again, just giving her more experience overall.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, how great exhibitions are to have that exposure, especially when you have more depth. That's a great thing. She does that front walkover and wobbled on that. That was supposed to be a combination connection right there. So the judges, that's where your start value comes into play. I'm not sure.
That was an issue that she had last week as well, just with that forward acro series. It's really difficult to actually look and figure out where you're at.
Yeah, and she does that.
But the fact that she can do this is phenomenal.
Yeah, she has a lot of unique skills on balance beam. We saw her mess up on that jump, though, and touch the beam. So a little bit off throughout the routine. But her beam skills are beautiful. I love that dismount, that Rudy off the end of the beam. But a couple mistakes here and there as well.
So again, a great job by this Wolfpack beam team. That 49.35 actually gives them a new season high by a quarter of a 10. So just narrowly surpasses that 49.325 mark that they had, and able to drop the 9.775 for Peyton Childs. So that concludes rotation number 3. The Wolfpack is going to have a floor party when we come back after this break.
NC State will win the 2024 ACC Championship.
The addition of Cal and Stanford is elevating the ACC. We're getting ready earlier. We're getting our routines down.
Every little detail matters, and that can be the make or break it moment.
We've got a target on our backs, and we like it there.
Check out NC State's YouTube Beyond the How before the conference meet, along with other sports throughout the year. You can see they're at NC State Athletics on YouTube. NC State coming up on the final rotation. They're moving over to the floor exercise. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this one. Welcome back inside Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh, North Carolina, as NC State has taken the lead after the 3rd rotation. It is senior night, and NC State's got 6 seniors on this team, all who have made a huge impact throughout their careers. Stick around after the meet as they have some senior celebrations and the award ceremony. Sydney, this meet has been phenomenal. Ohio State leading through the first two rotations. NC State taking the lead after the third one. What are your thoughts?
I think we've seen some great gymnastics. We've had a ton of season highs. We've seen consistent and confident gymnastics, and I'm excited for the fourth rotation. Both teams are looking really strong. We could see over here on bars, the stuck dismounts, the nice extension and executions throughout all these routines. We've seen better all night tonight. This is why she is so good. Love the reaction that we got from her as well. And then this beautiful floor team, that double full, front double full to the front tuck was one of my favorite passes that I saw in that floor rotation. And then over to NC State, Ashley Knight's huge pike half vault. I mean, I have no words every time I watch that. It's just incredible.
Just waiting for that stick.
Yeah, and then Caroline Volk as well. She's having a phenomenal night on bars and on beam. She's in shock, but absolutely love that. Then Chloe Negretti, we've seen her do this time and time again. She got another 10 thrown, but a 995, so gets that 9975. We were hoping for a 10.
She's gonna get it. I hope that she can close out her career with a 10 on one of those events. So there you see Ohio State led after the first two rotations. NC State had cut it down at the midway point by .125, but takes the lead by a little over 3/10 going into the fourth rotation with a new season high on beam of a 49.3.
The last event is always the most fun, more when you're at home because it's floor, but beam's tough to end on as well.
It definitely is, but this is something that you train for, and anytime you have a dual meet, one team has to end on beam, and it's always the away team.
Also, when talking postseason, you never know where you're going to start or finish, so it's important to practice all sorts.
Absolutely. So third event for Riley Guevara. Highlight of her in that floor routine.
I really like the execution that she has throughout. We've talked about it before, but form and this execution piece that we mentioned, it's really hard to teach. I feel like a lot of it comes natural, and you can definitely get better at it, but you can definitely tell it comes natural for her.
Ohio State beam team last week, a 49.125, led off by a 9.725 from Riley. That was a pretty good routine.
Yeah, I think that's a really great and solid leadoff spot for them. What you really want to see are those scores and routines continuing to build. So I really like that double twist dismount off the end. We saw Chloe Negretti do it, but other than that, I really don't see that dismount too often, and it is one of my favorites.
So Adler takes to the floor her third leadoff spot for the evening. And this NC State floor team is just so fun to watch overall.
Getting ready for this first tumbling pass here. That front handspring to the Rudy, which is a front 1.5. It's a tongue twister. Into the straddle jump. Beautiful switch side leap combination there as well. NC State is really chasing that 197 here. So we mentioned what they had to get, the 49.425, I want to say.
Yeah. That is where they're at. It's doable. They have in seasons past. Their high for this season so far on floor is a 49.325, so that would put them just under the 197 mark.
Definitely doable, but a lot of really good gymnastics and controlled gymnastics.
They need some big hits.
Absolutely. But they're off to a great start. A nice full front layout. I like how she was able to stay in bounds. Talk about that air awareness. It's crazy, but gymnasts know where they're at in the air. There's been so many times where it looks like they're going to go out of bounds, and then they just quickly.
They definitely know exactly where they're at. They know if they're off the diagonal by even the slightest margin.
Oh, yeah. I love the setup that she has to that Rudy. That's why she's able to do it like that every single time. And then notice the front fold to punch front layout. She took that tiny little step there.
So 1 up for each team on these events. You see Riley coming in with that 9.8 as Cameron Smith takes to the beam.
Really difficult turn there. Notice how she did 2. A nice front toss there. She was off on the front toss, but connected the back handspring into it. So had that wobble there. Again, the judges can take off if it wasn't connected from one skill to the other.
And Smith, just a freshman.
Does a gainer full off the side, takes a step backwards. So pretty solid routine there. A couple of mistakes and wobbles throughout, which will be a deduction. The most important thing is if she gets that connection right here on the front toss. You can see beautiful front toss though, but had that wobble. So I'm not sure that they'll give it.
And it is. That'll be a judge's discretion on did those arms keep moving, which is that signifying factor on this is connected, because she did have a wobble in between. So if they don't give it, that's going to lower her start value, which will ultimately lower the score as well. All right, Katie Harper in the second spot for this Wolfpack floor team.
Getting ready for this first pass right here. A 1.5 to front layout. You can see everyone doing it on the side right there. It's hard on floor exercise not to get too excited and too amped up, especially for a home meet when it's the last event.
It definitely is. And the other adrenaline rush is it's also senior night.
Yeah.
So it's their last home meet of the season, and all the emotions are out on the floor right now.
Yeah, there's so many factors playing a role in tonight. Last tumbling pass right here. She does just a Rudy by itself, which sometimes can be difficult to land, but nice job to end that floor routine for Katie Harper.
The Wolfpack 2 up and 2 hits.
See that front 1.5 or back 1.5 to the front layout. And then that front Rudy right there.
So 9.85 out of Adler, really looking to keep that momentum going. Back over to the beam, this is Grace Walker. You can see her average there, that 9.725. Last week and a little bit above that 9.825.
We mentioned it on bars, talking about the rhythm of each routine, but it's really crucial on beam as well. You don't want to get too ahead of yourself or go too fast than what you're used to. You want to be right on time for whatever works. And that is something that you practice. So it's not just going up every single time and throwing all the skills. So far, she's doing a really nice job moving through. So elegant with her dance as well. Nice switch side there. Getting ready for the dismount. A gainer pike off the side, and she's able to stick that. So a nice routine for Ohio State.
Excellent job. So 3 up, 3 hits. Again, you see the 9-6 from Cameron Smith with some of those execution errors on the balance checks, the wobbles throughout the routine. So that'll be the routine that they hope to drop.
Really like that back handspring back layout. And then again, ends it with a stuck dismount.
Phenomenal routine there. Ellie Hadrick up in the 3rd spot for this floor routine team. And this is a fun one to watch.
It's always interesting to see if they know how close they are. Some athletes pay attention to the score and some don't, but typically you know the ranges of the 49s. Hey, where I'm at, where are we at to a 196 versus a 197? So.
And in Reynolds, they've got some big jumbotrons with the scores on them at all times. So hard to miss once they did their renovation several years back.
She started that routine with a really nice front layout connected to that Rudy. She did a nice job getting that wolf jump around as well. Next tumbling pass coming up right here. She does a round off 1.5 punch front layout. That was easy.
I love it. A phenomenal routine. 3 up, 3 hits. You've got a pair of 9-8, 9-8 pluses for the first 2 on the floor exercise.
You can see right here the 1.5, and she gets that rise on the front layout as well. The reaction after, huge hugs all around there.
A phenomenal routine from Hadrick. Went 9.725 last week. I'm going to go with that. We'll score a little bit better than that routine. As we jump back over to the beam, our final look at the all-arounder, Tori Vetter. See her scores tonight, all at that 9-8 plus range.
Yeah, she's had a fantastic night. She's been a lot of fun to watch. That back handspring back layout, a little off on that. Nice side aerial there. She's just had really pretty gymnastics on all of her events. It's a lot. It's very appealing to the judges when you have that just good form, good execution. Doesn't have to be the most difficult routine, but the gymnastics is pretty. It goes a long way. Almost had the stick on that dismount. But again, that's going to be a good score for Ohio State. That was a beautiful beam routine.
One of their top performers, and again, a slate of 9-8 pluses for Vetter in the all-around spot.
And we see this back handspring back layout a little bit off with that front foot turn, but she's able to stay on and then ends with really nice dismount. quite get that stick.
So you see Ellie Hadrick posting a 9.9 on the floor. They are chasing this 197. Krista Zoltovich on the floor. Again, another one that can really score big.
Yeah, these next three athletes in the lineup have really big scoring potential. So when we talk about that 197 and chasing it, these are who they're gonna want up next. 2.5 punch front. One thing that's fun about her routine are the facial expressions.
I love it. Every time I watch it.
I know, I can't help but smile watching it.
The question is, does she make you want to do your floor routine again?
I'll get back to you on that. Yes and no. Yes, I loved floor, but I can't imagine trying to do the cardio part of that again.
She's been so fun to watch throughout her career as well. I've loved her former floor routines with some of the like Irish dance that she's always had a similar theme.
Getting ready for this last pass, huge double tuck. And she's able to control it. A little bit of a squat there. We'll see what the judges do with that, but it's still a nice hit floor routine.
Almost too high to where she had so much energy coming down.
Yeah, it was from our angle as well. That double tuck was really high in the air. She has always has great height on that.
Absolutely. And physics, what goes up must come down. The higher it goes, the more force there is coming down on it. We'll take a look really quick.
Yeah, you can see right here, sets up so nice, has that height, and then just a little bit squatty at the end, but
overall, a great routine out of Zoltovich.
She covers it up with that smile, those expressions.
All right, Mason Rader on the balance beam. Her third event as well. Rader went 9.875 last week on this event, so this Ohio State beam team could really use another score in that range.
Getting ready right here, this acro series back handspring, back layout. I love how sharp she is on those finishes. She covered up that wobble well. Does that cat leap into that side aerial, no problems there. Wow, a switch split jump there. It's not something that we've seen a whole lot of. Just getting ready right here for this dismount. That handspring gainer full off the side. Really like how she was able to stick and just her feet just kind of sunk into the ground there. So beautifully done to finish off that beam routine. A couple of wobbles here and there. We'll see what the judges take on that, but overall, a solid hit there. Look at this switch split. That is, it looks really easy, but it's actually extremely difficult.
When I watched their meet from last week, and I think I replayed that at least twice, probably 3 times. So I was like, wait, is that what I thought it was?
Was she switching her feet right there? Yeah.
Yeah.
She was.
So a super fun beam routine, that stuck dismount. You see 398 pluses in that Ohio State beam lineup. Looking for another strong routine as we take a look at Ashley Knight on floor.
We're gonna see some big tumbling here, starting off with the front double full. She lands it upright like that every single time. Taking into account that that is a blind landing there. She's just such a powerful athlete. We see it across all of the events, but we saw it tonight on vault. Because even with that straddle jump, I think I could walk underneath her.
Yes. She's always been so fun to watch.
Getting ready right here. Last tumbling pass. She's gonna do a punch. Rudy to a back tuck.
Actually changed that last pass to include the tuck at the end.
It used to be that layout step out. She changed it to a back tuck. And it worked out well.
A great change in that it's worth the same.
Yeah, the layout step out she did was beautiful as well, but that back tuck, can't take away from that height that she gets there. Can see right here.
Had a mistake on that last weekend, only went 9-2 on this event. That score is going to be another big one as NC State narrows in on that 197 mark. So we'll take a first look at JoJo Warga, senior out of Ohio. She has been sitting all meet just to compete on the balance beam.
And that's something to take note of. It's really tough to sit for an entire meet, be able to stay warm and move your body around. She starts out with that front aerial and a back handspring acro combination. It's hard enough to wait around for just one event. So multiply that by a couple. And
by multiple events. And then you get you have a shared team touch for 4 minutes. So you get about 30 seconds on the balance beam before you're expected to compete in the 6th spot. So,
and she's not letting that phase her at all. You saw that front pike toss right there. Really difficult skill that she was able to land upright. So far, really beautiful routine, and then ends it with a gainer pike off the end. Another stick for them. That's going to be a big score.
Yeah, great job for the Ohio State beam team. Really looking at dropping that 9.6. So you add a couple of tenths onto that, and they're going to hit that 49 mark again.
She does that back pike gainer, and it's like an exclamation point to that beam routine.
Absolutely. And then we've got the star herself, Chloe Negretti, on the floor. She's following back 2 9.9s in this floor lineup already.
And it's really loud in here. People were standing up when she was walking onto the floor. So we're in for a really beautiful routine here.
Maybe she'll get the 10 on floor.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx it.
Knock on wood.
She just has huge tumbling, but watch how she's able to control these landings coming up right here. First pass, huge double pike. She's even controlled in her choreography and her dance.
I'm impressed by the control of the emotions.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those routines you never forget, is your final floor routine in your home arena.
Yeah, and it's hard not to put too much pressure on yourself on a night like tonight too. And so far, she's done a great job tonight of being able to handle and control all of those emotions like you mentioned.
So far, so good. And she's already got a career high on this event of a 9.975.
Yeah, we'll see if she can match that or possibly even get higher. But last tumbling pass here, it's going to be a double tuck.
Can she do it?
I think that's about as good as it gets. Wow. Chloe Negretti, everyone, on senior night. We're hearing chants of 10s, but I don't want to call it. I don't know what the judges are going to do. But that was really fun to watch. We'll take another look here while we wait.
She is. We have talked all season about how like calm and collected she is, even after that routine, not showing the emotions.
You can just see the height, the power, and the control all the way.
Regardless of the outcome, that was an absolutely beautiful routine for Chloe Negrete to wrap up her career in Reynolds.
I agree.
So Reagan Sams, the freshman for this Buckeye team in the exhibition spot. You hear the fans. It's a 9.975 for Chloe.
So close.
And this is a tough spot for Reagan to be in as well. You've got all these fans cheering, and she's over here doing a beam routine.
I was just going to say, really impressive that she's been able to do this beautiful beam routine so far.
It's been gorgeous.
In this type of environment. So many emotions tonight, and both teams have just done such a great job of being able to handle them. A nice beam routine. I liked the form that she had throughout. One of the highlights was that front pike toss.
Such a great job by Sams, really pulling up this Ohio State beam lineup. They did a great job pulling everything back together as well. From even just a couple of minor errors from Cameron Smith in that second spot. But there you see NC State got that 49.425, a 197 even for the Wolfpack team as Kaylee Adamides does an exhibition.
Starting off with a double tuck. Lacked a little bit of power, so had to pull her chest up quick on that landing. But we talk about it's not over until it's over, and this is a perfect example of NC State chasing that 197 score. They had to get that 49.25, which that's a big score to get for any team on any event. So
absolutely,
for them to be able to pull that off and continue to build is really impressive and should make them feel great going into Sunday's competition as well.
3 scores at a 9.9 or better is huge in NCAA gymnastics. Those are scores that the top 10 teams are getting regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Kaylee do that 1.5 punch pike there.
Another 3-pass tumbling routine.
She's gonna end with that Rudy straddle jump. Sometimes on that Rudy, when you're punching a skill out of it, it's hard to control, but she recovered from that well. So nice routine.
So hugs all around for Adamides, a 9.65 coming in from Reagan Sams on the balance beam in the exhibition spot. And NC State gets that 197, so still not able to count their high score over 197, but now the way the NQS is done, they do have a 197 that they can count into their overall rankings and qualifying score to get them to plus. So 4 down, and the Wolfpack come out with the win. Stick around for the senior night celebration and the awards after the break. And it is a Wolfpack win for the number 20 NC State women's gymnastics team. You can see there the 197 even to a 196.3 for the Buckeyes. NC State takes the win on 3 events as well. This was a fun meet to watch overall. Sydney, give us your final thoughts just as they start with the senior night celebration.
I thought it was a great meet. Both teams showed some great events and some high scores. We saw a lot of good, confident gymnastics, a ton of sticks too, but NC State really getting that 197 was a huge confidence booster for them heading into postseason. Ohio State on the road, still getting a lot of season highs and 49s on events. And so I think that that's really impressive. And again, great meet. And I'm excited to watch them, both teams, in postseason.
Well, again, stick around for the award ceremony and the senior day celebration. For Sydney Sneed and our entire ACC network crew, I'm Rachel Garland saying so long from Raleigh.
NC State Wolfpack seniors.
These seniors and super seniors have stamped their influence on
We honor a very special group of 6 soon-to-be graduates. These seniors and super seniors have stamped their influence on Wolfpack gymnastics over their storied careers. Peyton, Macy, Lucy, Brooke, Krista, and Chloe. Although each of you will be embarking on your next journey in the not-so-distant future, your Wolfpack gymnastics journey has left a lasting legacy. Each of you were part of history, memories that I'm confident will last a lifetime. Each of you were a piece to the championship puzzle, and each of you shared your special something with this program over your career.
Honoree that we'd like to recognize is Peyton Childs, a dedicated 4-year gymnast at NC State. Peyton has been a bars and beam specialist for the Wolfpack. Throughout her career, she earned all Eagle Scholastic Team honors in 2022, all ACC academic honors in 2024, and has been recognized as a WCGA All-American for 3 consecutive seasons. She's also secured 4 podium finishes and has hit 9.8 and above on bars 11 times with a career high of 9.850. Peyton will graduate in May with a bachelor's degree in human biology. She's escorted tonight by her mother, Dawn, her father, Steve, and her brother, Brady.
Peyton, you have been such a valuable scholar athlete and teammate since your arrival. Although the memories I have are many, I'll never forget the day you committed. From that day, I have watched you grow as a person, a student, and an athlete. My favorite moments have been learning more about you through all your stories you have shared. Too many to name, but let's just say they usually gave me a good laugh. Your legacy will be your commitment to this team, your work ethic inside and outside the gym, and your selflessness and empathetic attitude. You truly have such a good perspective, and your attitude of gratitude never went unnoticed. Peyton would like to extend a big thank you to her coaches, teammates, and family for everything they have done for her along the way. The memories and relationships that she has built at NC State will be cherished forever. Thank you, Pey, for being you over the last 4 years.
Once again, Wolfpack Nation, let's hear it, Peyton Childs. Our next senior is Macy Jennings. As a beam specialist, Macy achieved a career high score of 9.90 in our victory over North Carolina at the 2024 ACC Championships. She's earned a spot on the 2024 All-ACC Gymnastics team for the beam and has reached the podium 7 times in her Wolfpack career, including 2 first-place finishes. Throughout her time at NC State, Macy has earned numerous accolades for beam, including 2022 All-Eagle Second Team, 2023 Eagle All-Tournament Second Team, and 2024 All-ACC Gymnastics Team. She's also a 2-time All-Eagle Scholastics Team honoree in 2022 and 23. In 2024, Macy impressed by crossing the 9.80 mark on the beam 9 times. She'll graduate with a bachelor's degree in business marketing. She's escorted tonight by her mother, Wendy, her father, Richard, and her twin brother, Matthew, and her brother, Ryan, and his wife, Blair.
Macy. Majestic Macy, that is you, your 2.0 name. But so much more than just that. From your determination to earn a spot in the beam lineup your freshman year by consistently performing your triple series, to adapting to not one, but 2 new beam dismounts in subsequent years, to your first 9.9 on beam against UNC at Reynolds, the accomplishments are many. And although this year took an unexpected path, you are described by your teammates and coaches as admirable, supportive, and resilient. You have been a mentor to many who acknowledge and admire your commitment to this team despite the challenges you have faced. You have lifted them up and continue to find joy in the sport while accepting your new role. Macy, never stop shining bright. Your smile is infectious. Continue teaching those around you to appreciate the small things in life and have fun while doing so. As you move to your next chapter, I am confident that your light will shine just as bright.
Again, Macy Jennings. Next up, please welcome Lucy Lehman. Lucy has been a dedicated member of the pack for all 4 seasons, competing on the vault for NC State. She's achieved a career-high 9.825 during the 2022 season and competed in 5 meets as a freshman. Despite setbacks during the 23 and 24 seasons, Lucy remained a vital part of the team, pushing and inspiring her teammates every day with her unwavering dedication. She's a 2-time All-Eagle Scholastic Team honoree and a 2023 WCGA All-American. Lucy will graduate in May with a bachelor's degree in biology. She's escorted tonight by her mother, Hillary, her father, William, and her brother, Cooper.
Lucy, looking back on the past 4 years, your perseverance and consistent dedication have been undeniable. For every challenge you faced, you saw opportunity. No matter what the obstacle, you remained focused and committed to not only accomplish your goals, but to inspire all those around you while doing so. Described by your teammates and coaches as supportive, resilient, and loving, you have had such a positive impact on all. You are the definition of all hands on deck, no task too small for you. Whether it be in the lineup, competing exhibition, or being the best teammate ever, your energy and enthusiasm are contagious. One of your teammates said it perfectly. Everyone deserves to have a teammate like Lucy. Lucy would like to share that she is so thankful to have been surrounded by such an amazing group of people ever since she stepped foot on NC State's campus. The love and unwavering support are something she never took for granted and is so grateful for. Thank you for all you have given Wolfpack Gymnastics, both in the gym, on the competitive floor, and outside of practices and meets.
Again, Lucy Lehman. And now, fans, please welcome Brooke Smead. Brooke has been a dedicated member of the NC State gymnastics team for all 4 years. During her time, she's earned recognition as a 2-time All-Eagle Scholastic Team member in 2022 and 23, and was honored as a WCGA Academic All-American in 2022. This season, she made her beam debut and posted an impressive 9.875, finishing 3rd in NC State's victory over UNC here in Reynolds Coliseum. Brooke will graduate with a bachelor's degree in communications in May. She's escorted tonight by her mother, Vicki, her stepfather, Sean, her boyfriend, Tyler, and her club coach, John.
Brooke, hard work truly is the bridge that turns dreams into reality, and persistence is what transforms aspirations into achievements. And for you, you are a true testament that if you put in the work, it will pay off in the end. Your commitment and determination made it possible for you to stay gritty and chase your dream. your dream of competing for NC State. And although at times this dream seemed as if it may not reach fruition, you kept pushing, never wavering, because you knew what you wanted and you were going to make it happen. And make it happen you did. Friday, February 21st, the competition tied against rival UNC. NC State on beam, UNC on floor. Brooke, you went up like a true veteran, competed with confidence, and ended the routine with a stuck dismount for a 9.875. Tears of joy from not only you, but all those around you. 4 years of perseverance on display for Reynolds Coliseum to cheer on. As I told you the other day, Brooke, you have grown so much over the past 4 years. This year has been so special as you have taken that growth and used it to be an invaluable teammate and an inspiration for all. Continue chasing your dreams, because when you do, you will make them happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brooke Smead. Next up, please welcome Krista Zultevich. Krista joined NC State in 2023 and made an immediate impact competing on the vault, the beam, and the floor in her collegiate debut. Since then, she has appeared in every meet and has been a consistent performer for the Wolfpack. Throughout her career, she's recorded 9 podium finishes and has posted career highs of 9.9 on the floor, 9.85 on the vault, and 9.875 on the beam. She's achieved scores of 9.8 plus, an impressive 22 times on the floor, 8 times on the beam, and 9 times on the vault. She's also a standout in the classroom. Krista is a 2024 ACC All-Academic Team member, a 2023 All-Eagle Scholastic Team honoree, and a 3-time WCGA Academic All-American in 2021, 23, and 24. And she's a 2024 All-ACC Academic Team selection. She obtained her bachelor's degree in political science in 2024 and opted to return for the 2025 season, where she's pursuing a graduate certificate in youth development and leadership. She's escorted tonight by her mother, Christine, her father, Chris, and her fiance, Josh.
Krista, life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and sometimes those turns lead you to places you never imagined. For you, Krista, your journey to NC State was anything but typical. I remember receiving the text from you asking if I was interested in setting up a phone call. Of course, I said yes, because I always like to explore anyone interested in becoming part of the pack. Little did I know you had your sights set on becoming a Wolfpack and would turn your vision into action. You not only left an impression on that quick April visit, but you have left a lasting impression on all those lives you have been a part of here at NC State. Your teammates and coaches appreciate your leadership and dedication to this team. Your selflessness is noticeable, and your inspiration is felt daily. Of course, you will be remembered as depositing that check in the bank, starting us off phenomenally at ACC championships with your stuck Yurchenko full. However, those that know you well will remember you for your appreciation for opportunity and your undying joy for gymnastics at NC State.
Ladies and gentlemen, Krista Zultevich. And now, fans, our final senior of the evening. Please welcome Chloe Negretti. A dedicated member of the NC State gymnastics team, Chloe Negretti has consistently showcased her talent and commitment across multiple events. Throughout her career, she's achieved remarkable milestones, including recording the first 9.975 on the floor in NC State history during the Pack's March the 4th dual meet against Rutgers, setting a new personal career high. She also broke NC State's program record for the most all-time 9.9 plus scores on the floor in a season with 16. And she achieved a career best 9.975 on the beam against UNC earlier this season. Chloe's excellence extends beyond individual performances. She was named the 2024 ACC Beam Champion with a 9.95 and the 2024 ACC Floor Champion with a 9.975 at the ACC Championships. Her consistent high-level performances earned her the title of the 2024 ACC Specialist of the Year. She was honored as the 2024 ACC Gymnastics Scholar Athlete of the Year, named to the All-ACC Academic Team, and recognized as a WCGA Academic All-American with a 4.0 GPA. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Sport Management with a minor in psychology in May of 2023 and is currently completing her Master of Science in Parks, Recreation, Tourism, and Sport Management. She's set to graduate in May of 2025. She'll also complete 2 graduate certificates this semester, Sport and Entertainment Venue Management and Leadership and Volunteer Management. Chloe is escorted tonight by her mother, Amy, her brother, Tristan, and her sister, Ellie.
Chloe, where do I start? Has it really been 7.5 years since you first visited NC State? What started off as part of our first recruiting class evolved into cementing your name in the record books as one of NC State's all-time greats. It has been so rewarding to watch you become the woman you are today. Calm, grateful, focused, and an exceptional scholar athlete and person above all. As Chloe put it, if anyone would have told her 6 years ago that she'd still be doing gymnastics right now and was going to encounter the friends, opportunities, and experiences she has now, there's no way on earth she would have believed anyone. She remembers freshman year, one of her first posts she ever made about college gymnastics. She captioned, "Let's just start and see what happens." And look what happened, a journey of a lifetime. Chloe, you will be remembered by your teammates and coaches as driven and dependable, but most of all, a role model for all those around you. You are the epitome of trust your training, and that going above and beyond will help you reach your goals. Continue being you. There is no doubt that when you have your heart set on something, you will work tirelessly to achieve it.
Wolfpack Nation, once again, let's hear it for Chloe Negretti. And fans, one more time, let's hear it for our NC State Gymnastics 2025 senior class.
Peyton, Macy, Lucy, Brooke, Krista, and Chloe. What a ride thus far, highlighted by so many memories for each of you. Winning the ACC regular season after defeating Clemson at home, lighting the bell tower red, or becoming ACC champions. The memories that you have made inside and outside the competitive floor will always hold a special place in your heart. Thank you for being part of something bigger than yourself. Take the lessons you have learned and always find joy in your journey. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack.
Of 197, tonight's winner, your NC State Wolfpack. Fans, we'd like to thank you for attending tonight's meet and for cheering on your Wolfpack gymnastics team all season long right here in Reynolds Coliseum. Don't forget the ACC Championships are on March 23rd in Greensboro. You can purchase your tickets at gopack.com. Please drive home safely, and as always, go Wolfpack!